Oh my. I might take a while though. Yeah. Alright, let's go. Check-in time. I'm gonna pick up my race bag. I am running the Auckland Marathon, my very first marathon in 2 days, and I'm super excited. Just went and picked up my little racing number today, got my little bag, and got this cap, which I'm probably not going to wear on the actual marathon because I've never run with this before, but it's pretty nice cap. I decided to run this marathon because my wife and I found out that we were expecting kind of earlier this year around May, and I've always kind of had the marathon in the back of my mind as a bucket list item that I wanted to do, and I knew that, you know, with this next phase of life coming in, you know, doing all the training that would be necessary for, you know, a proper marathon would be, you know, would be pretty challenging. So I thought, you know, why not now? And yeah, so I just signed up for the Auckland Marathon in July, and I had about 14 weeks to put together a training program for myself to get ready for the marathon. Before this, I hadn't really done any running properly since high school. In high school, I did pretty well in cross country and all that. I think just because I played a lot of sport and I was pretty competitive, so I just wanted to, when I got out there racing, I just wanted to beat people. Since then I haven't really done any running. Initially when I first signed up, my A, B and C goals were 3 hours 30, 3 hours 45 and 4 hours. 3 hours 30 was going to be my stretch goal. 4 hours was kind of the goal where if I didn't hit 4 hours, in my mind I wouldn't feel like I had done the marathon justice, and I would have to do another one down the road in my life to kind of say, you know, I hit that sub 4 hour marathon. But as the training went on, and I don't know if this is a good idea or not, it felt pretty good, and I've revised my A, B and C goal to 3 hours 20, 3 hours 30 and 3 hours 40. If I get above 3:40, it's gonna feel like I didn't do my training justice, because based on my long runs, based on my kind of paces, I feel like that should definitely be there in the tank. So yeah, those are my my goals for my very first marathon. Training honestly was very time consuming. I quite enjoyed it, but it was very time consuming and quite difficult to schedule in with the rest of my life and other things I wanted to do. At the moment, thinking one and done, and I wanted to get this first and maybe only marathon done right. So let's go. So here is my kind of pretty ghetto training log that I started. So basically, you know, started my first run 12th of July. And you know, had the type of run that I wanted to do, the pace, the time, and just my comments. So see, first comment on my first one was first run in a long time, didn't push at all and kept a steady pace, just tried to run at a relaxed pace. And back then I really didn't understand the concept of easy running, so you can see I kind of struggled to go slow, because, you know, in high school it was like 3Ks, 5Ks and just go as hard as possible. That's all I really knew. And here I did my first slow run at that 5:48, 10K, and just kept track of my efforts as well. And yeah, pretty much kept track of all my training runs. Halfway through in August, I got pretty sick, and you can see I had to take 2 whole weeks off pretty much. And that's why that part's grayed out, which was not ideal. And then training went pretty well again. And then here, I didn't actually, you know, take any time off, but it's grayed out because I actually caught COVID around here, but I didn't test positive till later. So I was running through a bit of a cold, which was actually COVID, and then I ended up delaying my long run. So I caught COVID on my supposed peak week. So that wasn't super ideal, but I kind of bounced back from that pretty well, you know, so super thankful for that. Over here, I've got my very basic planning for my carb loading. So I'm shooting for around 750 grams of carbs every day on Friday and Saturday. So it's not quite there, but this is just kind of like some of the foundation, making sure I get to that decent amount. And then I'm sure I'll fill in the rest with kind of some carbs here and there. So yeah, that's my planned carbs, and that's what I've been eating so far today. And this is my race plan. So I've got it kind of plotted out kilometer by kilometer, and the kind of pace I'm planning on. So planning to start out kind of chill and basically ramp up throughout the whole thing depending on how I feel. So you can see I've got a pretty ambitious end goal of like 3:15, which is faster than my A goal, but why not give it a good shot, Got a pretty good sleep last night, just let myself kind of sleep in, even though I don't know if it's like kind of excitement or just I've had enough sleep this week, but I just kept waking up pretty early, but no, pretty good sleep. I'm about to go do my shakeout run, so just gonna do a 3K run, real short, probably warm up pace, and kind of just relaxed, easy pace for the first and the third kilometer, and in the middle I'll do a kilometer of marathon pace. Feeling pretty good. I've been trying to take it pretty easy, but today it's like we went strawberry picking, which is actually not that intensive, and then took the dogs out for a little outing. So I reckon after the shakeout run, the rest of the day I'm just gonna try to stay off my feet, take it super easy, carb up, and start kind of just getting that body super ready for tomorrow. So these shoes were the shoes that I did the majority of my training in. New Balance 1080 V12s. Very comfortable shoe, but my issue with it was that on my left foot, the tongue would kind of rub up on my, like this part of my foot, and it was like causing essentially like a bruise. It was like swelling up pretty bad after like a lot of runs. So I went and I got another pair of shoes. These are slightly lighter. They're not really race day shoes, they're still daily trainers, but they're Supernova Primas, and I really enjoy running in these, and these are gonna be my marathon shoe. So I'm gonna go hit my last run of this prep with these shoes right now. Last little shakeout run. Alright, I've got a dog party going on here. This is my final meal of choice. I guess I'll still probably have supper, but this is my final dinner. The classic Pizza Hut Hawaiian. Oh, that's looking real good. So this is a food I eat pretty often, and I know will sit pretty well with me, I think. Got half-ish of a Just Juice to go. So all up, this is probably like, how many carbs? Maybe like 200 carbs-ish. So pretty good in helping me hit my carb loading goals. This pizza right here is I'm gonna think about this pizza when I'm like 30-something Ks in, and I'm like, I need these carbs in my legs to work. Alright, so this is my race kit in the morning. So I'm gonna go with this. I don't even remember where I got this top from, but before doing more running, I actually barely wore it because you don't really wear stuff like this for like tennis or basketball, but it's been really, really good for running, pretty lightweight. So that's gonna be my race singlet. Need to slap this bad boy on here. Actually, when I first signed up, I signed up for a slower start group, but then as I trained, my confidence rightly or wrongly kind of increased, so I have overridden that to a faster start group. So let's go red group. Got these Kmart shorts, and I bought these just for this marathon or just for this training because they have this butt pocket back here which can fit 3 gels. So between the 2 side pockets and the back pocket, I can fit all the gels I need. I'm planning on taking 7 gels tomorrow, and then I don't need to bring a running belt or anything, so it's just going to be these shorts clutching me for fuel. And these socks may look like kind of those Nike Elite socks, but they are just socks I got off Temu, but they're actually like super quality. So I've been really enjoying doing all my sport in these socks. Got them in like a whole bunch of colors. Got my little running pack, so I gotta get everything in this, so they transport it from the start line to the finish line for me. In the morning I'll probably wear these Adidas sweatpants and this kind of like lightweight hoodie I got from Uniqlo to keep me warm before we get started. In terms of fueling, I am using these Peak Fuel energy gels. So they 25 carb, 100 calories per pack, and they each come with some caffeine. So actually no, wow, I totally thought that, oh my gosh, I just realized the berry one comes with caffeine and the lime one doesn't. Crack up. Okay, so that's not something I had realized before this, but I got more berry ones anyway, so I'll be able to get my caffeine hits from these guys. But that is a great reminder. I might alternate these flavors as I go. Gonna be sipping on this Gatorade in the morning, getting some kind of pre-race carbs and hydration going. Almost forgot to include, gonna be running in this Wilson cap. Shout out St. Wes, my good friends who got me this cap for, I think it was one of my birthdays when I first started playing tennis. So this is my first tennis cap, and it's a little bit worn out now because I've been wearing it heaps, but it's also the hat I've been doing all my running training in, super lightweight, so this is gonna come in clutch tomorrow. It's getting real now, got it all pinned on, come on. By far the biggest feeling I feel right now is excitement. I gotta say, I don't think I've felt like this in a long time. It's that combination of kind of pre-jitters before something big. Like before you go on a big holiday, before a big sports event like this. Or before, like when I was young, I used to kind of feel like this before birthdays. Maybe not as much as I got older. Just like honestly, I kind of feel like a kid. That there's been something I've been looking forward to for so long and preparing for, and now it's finally here. And in terms of the actual, the marathon itself and the big physical challenge that that it's been described to be, like a lot of people describe it as the hardest thing that they've ever done or that they've ever had to do, and that sounds pretty exciting to me. That's like flip, like, so am I about to experience something completely different completely different to the things that I've been experiencing in my life up to this point, and I think that aspect is also very exciting. I think another aspect is just when you prepare so long for something and then you finally have the opportunity to put it to the test and kind of see how it holds up, like put your mind to the test, put your body to the test. Like, I think for me, like I love that idea. I love that whole concept. And I think my mantra for tomorrow that I've been thinking about is, it only popped up in the last few days, is to savor every kilometer or savor every moment. But maybe I'll say kilometer. All the videos I watch is mainly American videos, so you always say mile, but for the marathon, in miles it's only 26 miles, but in kilometers it's 42. So there's more kilometers to savor, which is why I want to savor the kilometers. And I think quite often the sentiment I've heard about marathons is like, oh my gosh, like it's going to be painful, you just want to get through it. But for me, when I was out for some of my long runs, some of my runs over the past week or two, I've been really reflecting on like how just privileged of an opportunity like it is for me to be able to do something like this for fun, of my own choice, where I can like have such a well run event that's put together that I can get out and enjoy that feeling of using my body as God has designed it. And in the spirit of that, I've got my paces set out for each kilometer that I want to run, and I just want to savor them. It's almost like, I don't know how it'll feel when I get out there, but the feeling I want is, when you're watching a show that's so good and you look at how many episodes there are and you're like, oh good, there's still like 40 episodes to go, or like you don't want the show to end and you want to enjoy every episode. That's how I want to feel with tomorrow's marathon. Like, I don't want it to be like a show like, oh gosh, I still have 15 episodes to go, like when is this going to be over? Like, that's not a good feeling. I think I'm going to be running in places I haven't run before, with people I've never run before, in an environment I've never run before. I haven't done a race since my high school days when I used to do cross country, like where the cross country that everyone had to do. So savor every kilometer. That's gonna be my thing. Like, get to the pace I want to get to for that kilometer and just enjoy it. And Like 42 kilometers, it's a lot, but it's also not a lot. Like you go out for a run, a kilometer goes by just like that, and that's 142, 142, 142nd. How do you say that? But like, yeah, that's just some of my pre-race thoughts. Gonna be good, man. The next 12 hours, 14 hours, it's gonna be freaking hype. Let's get it. Alright, it's the morning of race day, 2:59 in the morning, and 3 hours before the race. This is honestly way more than I normally eat, but you know, recommendation was like just 3 grams of carbs per kg of body weight, so 200 grams plus of carbs. Breakfast, so I'm also gonna jam this freaking juice. Hopefully this will all digest well before the race. Got my race kit on, about to head off. This is what I've done. I don't have a coach on the side or anything, so I'm not gonna be carrying my phone while I run. So I've got my kilometers on the left there and the pace that I'm planning on running. So let's see how we go. Let's go. Freaking pumped. Managed to go take a pretty solid dump, so feeling good. I got 2.5 hours to go a couple more toilet stops hopefully and get everything feeling good before it is go time. Let's go. So boom, the gun went off, the race started, and there's me starting my watch and checking that it started, because I was such a bunch of nerves that I actually forgot to like get the GPS watch ready. So when I was crossing the start line, I was still, you know, getting that sorted. There I am, heaps of people, such a good buzz. I think the guy with the balloon there was the 3:30 pacer, I believe. So I started right next to the 3:30 pacer. And for me, the first 10Ks, it's all about getting the engine warming up. This photo sums up what the first 5K was all about. It was just about good vibes, keeping a steady rhythm, and running. I wanted to run between 4:50 and 4:55, and I think I ran sometimes like a little bit less than, like faster than that, but I was pretty happy with that. After the first 5K, I ramped it up a little bit, but it was still very easy pace. And I think this was me towards the end of the 10K warm-up, so still feeling good, pretty chill. Got a baby just coming past and supporting us. That was the first 10K. There was no dramas really. In terms of how I felt on the start line, actually, I felt really good, because I managed to go for 3 pre-race poos, I think. So all the bloating and the heaviness I felt from the carb loading the previous 2 days, all pretty much like disappeared. My stomach felt actually very empty on the start line, which I guess was good, and I felt ready to go. But I actually felt a tad hungry, so I took my first gel 20 minutes in, I think just kind of right before the 5K mark, and my plan was just to take gels every 20 to 30 minutes. In this first 10K period, I was just really enjoying the run. I found this guy, I don't know his name, but he had an interesting running form, but he made it look really effortless, and he was holding pretty much kind of pace that I wanted to hold as well. So I ended up using him kind of as my pacer, and I'm like a little bit goofy, so then as I was running, I was like thinking, okay, you're my captain, I'm gonna follow you, blah, blah, blah. Just like these stupid little internal dialogues that I have. And that's that fella over there with the mustache. And this was us crossing the bridge actually. So this was us going into the 11 to kind of 21K segment. So that's the second 10K of the marathon. For this kind of 10K stretch, I wanted to speed up again from my warm-up and run it at about 4:40 or just faster than that pace. And you can see that I managed to stick to that pretty well. The tricky part of this marathon is that around K 15, 16, there's actually a big incline up the harbour bridge. So while it's beautiful, heaps of good scenery, there's also this kind of pretty deadly incline, and it was super windy. So with the wind, it was actually quite tough, and I think if I wasn't careful, it would have sapped heaps of my strength. So I let myself slow down. Heaps of people were kind of use each other for to break the wind, and it was pretty interesting actually. And I pretty much tailed this fella most of the time. Slowed, you can see there I slowed down to 4:54 on the uphill, but on the downhill and actually like the next 5Ks after that, I think between the downhills, the lack of wind, and maybe just like the contrast of how much easier running felt, I actually went quite a bit faster than my planned pace up to the half marathon mark. Around the half marathon mark was also when we entered the city, and that just made me run even faster because there was a little bit more crowd support, people just cheering you on, the sun was starting to come out, and so this was me feeling really good. I think I ran the first half in an hour 38, and I felt like I was in a really good position to negative split. Mentally at this point I knew that all the hilly bits were over and it was a flat the rest of the way. And this second half of the marathon was also where I practiced my max effort half marathon. So I felt pretty comfortable with the route. This is about the time of exiting the city, and this was about 25Ks in. So what happens in the Auckland Marathon is that you leave the city and then you run past a couple of bays, and then you get to a certain bay and then you loop around and go back. So I still felt really good here. And in this next stretch, so from the 22K mark to the 30K mark, or the 32K mark, I had planned to up the pace once again by another 5 seconds, and you can see there that I did that pretty well. So my race plan was to essentially just keep speeding up the whole time until the very end, and then leave it all out there. After this point, leaving the city, I knew that my wife and my friends, shout out Lee and Anna, were gonna meet me at Mission Bay and just to kind of support, and that's around the 29K mark. So I only need a few kilometers, run this course that I've run many times before, so just cruise along at a 4:30 pace there and felt really good. You can see from this video.
Alright, we're hijacking Elan's vlog. We're gonna go see him at Mission Bay now. Go E! Go! Let's go! Season!
That I was like energized, hyped. I might have been too energized to see my wife and my unborn son. Because when I looked down after seeing them, I was going at like 4:10 pace, and I was like, oh shoot, that's probably a bit too fast. Then that gave me a good energy boost all the way up to the turning point, which is St. Heliers, that around the 31K mark. And that's when I finally kind of got to experience firsthand the saying, the marathon is a 32K warm-up for a 10K race. After that turnaround point, I feel like the rubber really hit the road, because there was a strong headwind that came in, so we started running into the wind and everyone was getting pretty fatigued, so the average pace of just everyone around me just dropped significantly. The next 5K from 32 to 37, my plan was to stay at that like 4:30 pace, or even try to speed up a little bit, and I didn't really manage to speed up, but I did stay at that 4:30 pace till the 35K mark. And in this time I was just passing heaps of people. I was passing people left and right because everyone was just, I felt like they were just getting wrecked. The guy that I was following that whole time, the guy with the mustache, honestly I thought I was just gonna follow him the whole way to the end, but he actually lost his legs a little bit and he slowed right down, so I kind of passed a lot of people around this time.
Let's go! Let's go!
And I saw a lot of people start to bonk out and cramp out. Like 2 guys that were running, and then suddenly one guy's hammy cramped, I think. And it was quite sad to see. He just turned to his mate and he's just like, "You go on ahead, mate, I'll see you at the finish." And he just started walking / limping. And in the back of my mind I was thinking, dang, like it is tough. I was getting more tired, like way more tired than I was. Like the first 32Ks I was just cruising, and then I was getting like, suddenly the reserves just started dipping, and I was thinking, I don't think I should push that hard to continue speeding up to the end, because the last thing I wanted was to bonk out. That would have been a worst case scenario. So instead I changed my mindset to, okay, from 36Ks you can see there, I started getting pretty tired, so I was like, just hold on to this pace, keep it under 4:40, and when the time feels right, I'm gonna let it all out there. And then initially I was like, okay, I'll wait till 3Ks left, and then I'll go, and then I changed it to 2Ks left, and then I'll go, and then I was just like, okay, I'll wait till the final K, and then I'll just do a full send. The thing that I started thinking about around this time, funnily enough, was when I watch marathons myself. I don't know if anyone actually watches full marathons, but like in the Olympics, highlights, all of that, I love watching the last 4 or 5Ks. That's where all the juicy stuff happens, you know, people are racing. So at that point, it's all mental. It's all about like out-positioning your opponents and then seeing who's going to win. So for me, I was thinking from a third-person perspective, like, okay, I'm in that place now. Once I'm in that 37K mark, if I was watching myself, you know, I've got a baby son on the way, and obviously he's just a baby, but say if he was a bit older, or if later on if he could watch footage of this, which he can't, but just what if, how do I want to, you know, look? Do I just want to be someone who's like dying and looking like he's just hanging on to get to the finish line, or do I want to be, you know, I'm no Kipchoge, but you know, I can be a super poor man's version of Kipchoge and kind of really try to race that last 5K strong. You know, I wanted to be the person passing people and not letting people pass me. And I'm really, I guess, quite proud that I did manage to do that. I think in the last 10K, or even like more, like the last 15K, I don't remember anyone passing me because I was focused on having quite a strong negative split. All I remember is me passing people and just, you know, laser focused on, you know, what kind of race finisher do I want to be. And actually throughout my training, that was a big focus of mine all the time. Is every single one of my training runs, I always focused on finishing strong. So regardless of how easy the run was, my last K would always be my fastest K. Pretty much always, and especially on long runs. For long runs, I'd, you know, try to do my last 4 or 5Ks at marathon pace, or kind of even faster. And I think that training really gave me confidence that I could do that. Big memory I have is around this point. That guy behind me, he had a coach, and he stuck with me the whole way when I was starting to, like, you know, as I was trying to finish strong. And his coach kept, you know, talking to him, saying, like on a bike next to us, saying, hey, just stick with him, you're looking good. And I'm kind of a little bit psycho in the sense that, like, for this race anyway, I didn't buy super race shoes, like carbon plated shoes, and I could hear that he had them, and I was thinking in my mind, like, this guy's got fancy shoes, he's got a coach, and now he's trying to come past me. I'm like, heck no, am I letting this guy pass me? This was like the dream scenario for me, where, like, imagine if it was me and him coming first and second and we're like fighting to the finish. That's kind of the stuff that I thrive on. So I kind of created the storyline in my head, and I was just like, even if I die, I'm gonna pass out before I let this guy pass me. And that was a really fun, but it kind of killed me. But I think that was the boost that I needed in the last 2Ks to really keep pushing and giving my all. And in the last K, when I started doing my full send, like, I had nothing left in my legs, so I was just pumping the arms, breathing like a psychopath. Like, I'll do an impersonation. My breathing was legitimately like as I was taking every step just to, like, get to the finish line and keep pushing. And I ran my last K in 4:16, which is my fastest kilometer, and I could hear at some point that guy's breathing got even more labored than mine, and he told his coach, no, I need to slow down. And that was like a highlight for me, just from a competitive racing standpoint. It's obviously not personal, but it was like something that gave me fuel in the moment, which was a really pretty cool highlight, I'd say. Yeah, that went to the finish line, and you could see
completed marathon winning today.
This was me right after crossing. I'm like basically falling over because, like, my legs were gone. They pretty much seized up as soon as I crossed the finish line. And then I went straight to the hydration station. You know, saw Joe and Lee and Anna there. Well done. Oh my, the last like 2Ks. Get this on camera. Last 5K, oh no.
2 people passed me on the home stretch, but apart from that, I don't get past. And I passed like 100 people.
100. Let's go, get your middle. Get your middle.
I don't even know where.
Just keep walking.
You keep walking down the street. Take your time, take your time. Oh my. I might take a while though. Yeah, no, take your time, take your time. Like, I don't know if I can move right now. After stopping this out here.
Yeah.
2.2, others in the blue. Well done, guys. Good work. So athletes, you come through if you could move forward. Always move forward.
Thank you for coming. Let's go, Levi. That's for you, Levi. My lip was like numb there.
So look at all these green birds up flying. How the 11Ks will do.
I couldn't do this one, eh?
One is there. 11Ks versus the green birds. Mixing it up with the orangey yellow birds.
Alright, let's go. So I think I finished, I don't know what my official time is, but I think it's like either right on 3:17 or like just under. Yeah. Shout out Joe, beautiful wife, and my boy, named TBC, but maybe Levi. Shout out Leonana, came out to support. 3:16.25. Let's go. Let's go. Closer to 3:15 than 3:20. In the back of my mind, I like saw the 3:15 pacer and the turnaround, and I was just like, is that possible? But then I saw him again. Oh, let's go. That was sick. I had to dig deep. On the last 5K, I think everything except the last 5K, I was just like, okay, I got this. I can cruise. And then when I tried to up the pace in the last 5, I couldn't. And it was just like, hang on. There's a real buzz out here. Super run event. My quads have never cramped, but they're very, very close right now. They're very, very close. I'm trying to find my bag, but it's so far. Oh man. Let's go.
Okay, I'll do my job properly.
Joe's carrying two out of 3 of the family right now.
That was my marathon. Managed to do a negative split. It's tough because I actually with one of these marathons, you run longer than 42.2k. But if it was 42.2 according to my watch, I did a 138 and 135 split. Yeah, I'm actually really happy with that. Beat my goal A of 3:20. I managed to beat it by 4 minutes, and that was my marathon experience. Thinking back now, that it's done and dusted, and I've had some time to reflect. It's definitely last 10k. I suffered way more than the first 32. The first 32 was actually just enjoyable because you're going at a pace that I've trained at 4:30 for months, and it's a pace I can run very comfortably. So yeah, that's gonna do it. That's my marathon summary. I've been trying to figure out, I've been dealing with the post-marathon blues a little bit since finishing, but figuring out how I'm going to incorporate running into my life going forward. But I'm sure we'll work it out. So that is all. Thank you for watching up to this point. I'll catch you in the next one. We're still waiting for Wendy's. Joe's challenged me to squat like Lee. So who am I to turn down the challenge? Oh, the left one.
Nice.
Oh. What was that? Okay. I'm down.
Did it! Yay!
Alright, we made it in. And here we go. I've been thinking about this homeboy for months.